everyone. Happy Friday. So everyone's kind of getting set up here. I thought I'd just go over what we will need for today's session. And that is a roller. And if you don't have a roller, a pillow could substitute. And if you have a inflatable ball, that would be a bonus, but you don't have to have it. Again, a pillow could substitute. And a myofascial release ball, racket ball would be fantastic. And if you don't have a racket ball, you could use a tennis ball. And then at the very end of our session, we're just going to come to standing. And if you have 2 paper plates, that would be great. Otherwise, I can just kind of show you this exercise, and then you can find time to do it on your own. Okay, so as we get these things out of the way, just want to say thanks for joining me today. Thanks for Zarely for hosting these fabulous classes. I am Kerry Shea. I'm a former professional ballet dancer and certified advanced Pilates instructor. So I have been teaching Pilates for 20 years, and I specialize in working with ballet dancers so they can reach their full potential. Okay, so we are going to start momentarily with the racquetball. The first handful of work we're going to do is releases. And these releases will help muscles and fascia that might be tight or overworking to release, therefore giving you better access to your full turnout potential. Then we move into exercises to help activate and strengthen turnout muscles. So hopefully this will help you when you return to ballet class really get the most out of that external rotation. Okay? So I am nearing 30 weeks pregnant. I'm going to modify a couple things as we go, so just FYI. But let's go ahead and get started with the first myofascial release. We're going to use your racquetball or tennis ball. And we're going to go ahead and come onto your elbows. And we're going to place this racquetball on your glute maximus. So we want it right above your sits bones. We do not want to roll on any bones. So placing it right above your sits bones, we'll rock back and we get right into it. So just roll around on that butt cheek, the fleshy part of the muscle there. You might start to find and notice tight places. I certainly do as I'm rolling. And as you're rolling, try to pinpoint maybe a tighter area and just hold there for a second. And then we breathe. So with that ball underneath your glute max, we're going to take the leg out to the side. We're going to open up the leg a little bit and then bring it back up. So we open up the leg, inhale, and exhale. And as you're working, you can move that ball around a little bit more, find another tight place, and do the same open and close of the knee again. So some of you might be really tight in these areas and might actually need to spend a little longer doing them, and that's okay. But again, this is just a tool for you to have your toolbox. So we'll just kind of move through at a general pace today. Okay, and maybe we go one more spot, find another spot, or go back to another tight area. And we're going to hold there and do the same inhale, open of the knee, and exhale, close. Inhale, knee opens, and exhale, close. And then from here, we're going to move that racquetball right above your sits bones, kind of like right in the middle of your butt cheek. And we cross your leg over into a piriformis stretch position, a figure 4 position. So from here, we're going to breathe and inhale. The knee pumps in towards your face, and then exhale goes away. Inhale, knee goes in towards your face, and exhale away. So your glute max, your piriformis, your glute minimus, and medius, all muscles that we're going to use the racquetball to release today, can often get tight. And that tightness can restrict your turnout. So what we're trying to do is really release these muscles before we start activating and strengthening them with exercises in a second. Okay, so after a few of those, you roll the ball around, maybe you do a couple more places. Then you're going to roll onto your side, your glute minimus and glute medius, kind of this side butt area. So we're going to move you onto your side. Ooh, and I can really feel that. And just hold for a second, or you can roll around a little bit, getting into any, again, tighter areas. Again, this area, once it gets tight, it's really hard to find your full potential and turnout. So we want to really get it released. And sometimes If you're feeling comfortable enough, like you can hold the position and let all the muscles just kind of relax into that ball, maybe you add in a little parallel turn in and out of the leg, and more than likely you're gonna feel it in the glute minimus and medius, releasing a little bit more. And you can also bend the knee. And maybe roll around just a little bit more, finding those tighter areas in the side butt muscles. And then breathing. We always want to visualize the muscles and the fascia releasing and melting deeper into the ball. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and do that much on the other side, kind of shake it out a little bit. Perhaps that side feels a little lighter than the other side. I'm going to switch around so you can see. Okay, so we're going to place the ball now back underneath your glute max, kind of that fleshy part of the main area of your butt. We want to make sure it's higher than your sits bones, no rolling on your bones. Okay, so come down to your elbows, and we just roll for a second, just kind of feeling out how this side feels. Perhaps one side's tighter than the other. And just trying to really find a nice solid breath to help the release. Okay, then once you find maybe a tighter area, we're just gonna hold here for a second. And if you can, we're gonna open and close the knee. Sometimes it's so tight that you can't do this yet, and that is okay. You just build to it. But it definitely means you should probably be doing this release daily for a while. So you inhale, open, and exhale, close. I'm gonna move my ball to another tight area, maybe a little higher towards the low back. Inhaling, opening that knee, and exhale to close. Inhale to open, and exhale to close. And maybe I move to one more spot, or you just stay where you are, finding a tight area and just really working through it. Inhale, I'm still visualizing my whole body melting into the mat and softening those tighter muscles, releasing and relaxing into the ball. And exhale to come back up. All right, so we're gonna move the ball a little bit more on the piriformis, which is right above your sits bone, that band that goes across your butt cheek. And we're gonna hold the ball there for a second and cross this leg over into the figure 4 piriformis stretch. So breathing, breathing, breathing. We hold that ball where it is, and now inhale the knee in towards your face and exhale out. Inhale, pumping the knee in, and exhale out. And again, I'm gonna move the ball, finding another tight spot, and doing that same movement with the knee. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Maybe one more for today. So I'm gonna move it just a little further out on the outside. And I go again, inhale. And again, this is a personal thing. Just because I'm moving more to the outside doesn't mean you need to. You might need to move more to the inside, the center of your body, to get the deepest part of release going for you. And exhale. And then from here, we're gonna go ahead and move you onto your side, that glute minimus medius side butt area, right through here. Again, no rolling on your hip bones. We wanna make sure the ball does not hit your hip bones. And just start by rolling around. Ooh. This is always a tighter area on me. This area can really inhibit turnout. So sometimes just holding and breathing without even rolling is good enough for a while. So find what's best for you. And I found a place that's really tight. I'm gonna hold here and breathe, just feeling those muscles relaxing into the ball. And then I'm gonna take my bottom leg and just move it a little bit. Little parallel, little turnout, little parallel, and turnout. And then maybe roll a little further onto the side, back, and do the same, turn in, turn out again. Whew, hope you guys are breathing. I'm smiling, but I'm crying inside. Okay, and then we're gonna bend and stretch the knee. If it feels good, again, this might be too intense for some people that are just first starting this, but just know that that's an option. Okay, one more deep breath through the glute medius and minimus myofascial release with the ball. Take an inhale and exhale just to let it all release out. Okay, so we're gonna slowly come up. Maybe the hips feel a little looser already, a little lighter. And we're gonna use that now and move you down onto your back. So one of the most important things about accessing your true turnout is knowing where your neutral pelvis is. and knowing how to dance with a neutral pelvis. So we're just going to landmark that very quickly. We'll roll you down onto your back. Feet and knees are separated, hip distance apart. And we're going to just landmark your ASIS, those two front hip bones. And we want to make sure your pubic bone is making a triangle with those hip bones, okay? So as we move through releases and exercises today, we want to make sure we're in neutral pelvis. If you are slightly tucked, or if you are slightly swayed back and the butt is sticking out, you will not be able to access your full potential in turnout, okay? So we want to really establish that neutral pelvis. Okay, so keep neutral. We're going to bring your right knee in towards the chest, making our way towards a psoas compression release. Left leg is going to lengthen down onto the mat. And we want to feel that left leg really long. Hands are going to hug the right knee in towards the chest for one deep breath. Spine is long. I'm almost imagining my tailbone is dropping down towards the floor more to counter the tucking that the pelvis wants to do as I hug this knee in towards the chest. All right, one deep breath. We take an inhale and exhale. From here, we start to circle the leg. Inhaling, the knee circles towards the midline of the body first, and exhale away. Inhaling towards the midline of the body, and exhale away. The goal is to have your arms do all the work and to keep this right leg and muscle very soft. All the hip, muscle, tendons, ligaments, fascia, tissue, everything is just really soft. So that femur is sitting and spiraling deeper and deeper into the hip socket as you do this. So the leg muscles are not working here. And we'll reverse the circle for a few. Inhale, it's not about range of motion. It's really just about relaxing the hip socket and the thighs, the hip flexors in particular. And exhale. One more deep breath. Are you still in neutral pelvis? Inhale and exhale. All right, so now this is going to lead us into the true release, the psoas compression. We're going to move your right knee on a diagonal up to your left shoulder. This is not a twist. This is not what that is. We're trying to compress your psoas. So the right knee is going up and over to the left shoulder. We're going to try to keep neutral pelvis. If anything, the tailbone goes down more towards the floor to resist the tucking of the pelvis. And we're going to hold here. Oftentimes, this is a really tight area on dancers, so you might feel some pinching in the front of your hip crease. Totally normal, right? And that's why we're doing this stretch. We're going to breathe into that tightness and that pinching feeling. So we take an inhale, and as you exhale, really hug that knee in a little tighter. Use your arms. Inhale. And as you exhale, keep neutral pelvis. Keep the left leg long. Reach that left leg further away from you. Exhale. Your psoas is attached to your diaphragm. So nice long inhale, exhales is going to help this release happen. So nice long inhale. And exhale. All right, so let's go ahead and bring that leg back to neutral and down onto the mat. And just compare your sides. Majority of the time, dancers will feel a nice lengthening through the front of the right hip, making a little bit more length and space there. That's fantastic. It feels usually pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing other side. As you bend that left knee in, don't lose the length and space in the front of that right hip. Keep it. So we're actively reaching that right foot, flexing away from you. Okay, one deep breath through center. Spine is long, shoulders are open. Inhale. And exhale. Neutral pelvis. Now we circle the leg. Arms do all the work. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale the first half of the circle. And exhale the second half of the circle. Inhale. And exhale. And the foot can just be easy. And exhale. We're going to reverse it for 3. Inhale. Nice and loose. Again, the arms are doing all the work here. How released and relaxed can you get your left leg muscles and hip? Right? Inhale. And exhale. Now, moving into the psoas compression release. Left knee is going to go over on a diagonal, up and over to your right shoulder. So we're going to really pull that knee in nice and tight. Elbows can go out to the side, so your bicep and tricep are really working to help pull that knee in. Spine is long, right leg is long. We take an inhale. And as you exhale, try to use that breath to increase the release. Pull the knee in, up and over to the right shoulder even more. We take an inhale to breathe into any tightness, restriction you're feeling through that left hip, maybe a little pinchy feel, it's okay. And exhale, deep in the stretch. Pull it in even tighter if you can. Maybe one more deep breath. Again, nice long inhale. And exhale. And we're going to slowly bring the leg back through center and lengthen it down onto the mat. Now hopefully the sides are a little bit more even. We're feeling a lot of nice length through your psoas. So this next exercise and release, we're going to think about the psoas staying very long now. So we're going to take the last release into this one. A famous rolfer in New York City gave me this next release. And there's slightly different foot positions as we go through. And each foot position has a different connection with the fascia, tissue, and muscle all the way up the chain from your feet into the rest of your body. So it's really important that we do all foot positions here, okay? So we're gonna find neutral pelvis, nice and easy, just easy, this is an easy one. We're gonna find your legs that are parallel, make sure you can see my legs, and we just inhale, turn the legs out, and then exhale, to close the legs. Making sure you're in neutral pelvis. We inhale, feel the femoral head rotating open, externally rotating in the hip socket, and closing in the hip socket. Now with most of my dancers, when they first start this, they lead with their feet, or they use the top of the thighs like they should in the beginning, but then they cheat to try to get more turnout. They use their knee joints and ankle joints and feet to try to push into more turnout. Don't do that. We're really trying to retrain your turnout use properly, right? So we inhale the femoral heads. This is where the movement originates. Femoral heads rotate open, nice and easy. It's like melted butter. The hips are just releasing and relaxing. And then we exhale, maybe a little ab inner thigh to help bring those legs back up through center. Feet are flexed the whole time. Toes are spreading out. Inhale to open. And exhale to close. I'm already starting to feel my hips open more as I do this, and we're not forcing it. It's very gentle. Imagine there's steel rods going down your right leg and left leg, and they work in one solid piece on both sides to rotate open and to close. All right, so we did flexed feet. Now we go into pointed feet. Same idea. Make sure your toes aren't too grippy, okay? So the toes are pointed, but they're not overworking. Same idea. We inhale. Finding the movement originating from the top of the thigh and the hip socket. Inhale, open, and exhale, close. Now's a great time to check to see if one side likes to rotate open more than the other. Hopefully our work today will bring some awareness to that and help you equal out the sides eventually. Inhale, open, and exhale, close. Another thing I like to think about is the psoas muscle working here. So your psoas attaches to the top of your lumbar spine, goes through the low back, through your hips, into the top of your thigh bone, your femur. So I imagine that the movement is actually not starting at my hips, but at the top of my psoas. So the psoas on both sides, the right and left side, the psoas externally rotates open, and the leg is responding to that and closing. So it's a really long movement. Open, and close. Final set, we keep the ankles pointed, and we're gonna flex the toes back. Okay, again, this is just integrating different fascia tissue into the body. So the flexed toes, we're gonna rotate open, trying to spread those toes from pinky to big toe as much as possible as you do this. So it's an inhale, open, and exhale, close. As you inhale, open, we're feeling those hips open and soften and close. And what's so beautiful about that is sometimes when my hips start to open, maybe you're feeling this, there's an actual subtle opening that starts to happen in the shoulders as well. So that's a great feeling. So maybe you're starting to feel that as well. Two more. Inhale, open, and exhale, close. Last Last one. Inhale, open. And exhale, close. All right, shake out the legs for a second. Just a great way to integrate the legs and turnout all together. So from here, we're going to go ahead and come up to a seated position. Another muscle that tends to get in the way of your max turnout, getting that potential going, is your QL muscle, your quadratus lumbarum. So you have one on your right side and one on the left side, and oftentimes with dancers and just majority of people, one side gets a lot tighter than the other. And again, that can inhibit turnout. So just quickly, we're gonna do a quick QL stretch, nothing major. We're just gonna do a little side bend up and over. And as you go over, we wanna keep that opposite sits bone down. Head, neck, and shoulders are easy. Taking a couple deep breaths there. Inhale. And exhale. We're really thinking of stretch originating all the way at the base of your spine, base of your hips, and lengthening all the way through your fingertips. And from here, we're going to add in a little pulse because the fascia really responds to that and releases a little quicker with the pulse. So we're going to exhale, pulse, shh, 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 shh. And this reach is actually starting from here. It's not just the arms. We're really reaching and reaching from the QL for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to engage those abs and come back up to a nice lengthened position. We're going to keep that length and go up and over to the other side. Taking a couple deep breaths, just through a still pose for a second. Inhale. And exhale. Shh. Head, neck, and shoulders are easy. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, let's start those pulses for the fascia. So we're going to exhale, pulse. 2, exhale, shh, shh, shh. I'm really feeling a nice length and stretch, a nice movement through those QLs. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to slowly bring it back up. Okay, perhaps you feel just a little bit more length and lift out of the pelvis after that. So that's going to be conclude our releases that we'll do today. And again, there's a million releases out there to do. Those are just some of my favorites. And we're going to start to move into more of the exercise portion now. So let's grab your roller. And if you don't have a roller, you can also use a pillow for the first exercise. I'm going to show you front and back for this, just so you can really get the full visual of the setup. So both legs, we're going to move onto your side. Both legs are going to be at a 90-degree angle. The top leg is going to be at a 90-degree angle forward of the body, resting on the roller. Okay? So just find that position. Now you're going to really lift up out of the bottom side. The core is really lifting your torso up. Now, you guys stay where you are. I'm going to switch around so you can see what the bottom leg does. Okay, so bottom leg is going to be at a 90-degree angle, but the foot is going to be behind you. So we want your bottom knee and bottom hip in one long line, okay? So again, we're really lifting the underside up off the mat as you do this. We don't want to collapse into the underside. Core is very active in these turnout exercise. So foot is gently pointed, and we're going to take the foot up and bring it down with control. We do 8 to 10 of these. We go up and bring it down. The whole time hip bones stay stacked. And as you lift your foot up, make sure you don't collapse in the underside. It's really easy to think you're doing more and you lift this leg and totally collapse into this. That is not going to help your turnout at all. So we want to really keep that core engaged. We lift up and back down. Whole time knee stays put. Make sure when the foot lifts, the knee is not moving forward. So we go up and down. Maybe 2 more, up and down. Again, spine and torso stay very long, up and down. All right, so from here, let's go ahead and switch to the other side. So I'm going to stay facing forward this time, but I'll just talk you guys through the setup. Okay, so again, top leg is going to go onto the roller, 90-degree angle. Hands relaxing down. Bottom leg is going to be at a 90-degree angle, but the foot is slightly behind the body of the bottom foot, right? The bottom knee and hip are in one long line. Okay. All right, so again, underside lifting up, core strong. We're gonna float the foot up and down. Exhaling up and inhaling down. Exhale, as you lift the foot up, make sure that you're not collapsing and dropping into the underside. You're actually lifting your core up off the mat more as you float the foot up. Also make sure there's not any tension in the foot. Ankle's not too grippy, foot, toes are staying relaxed. Exhale and inhale. And again, we do about 8 to 10 of these. Exhale and inhale. Head, neck, and shoulders are very relaxed. Exhale and inhale. And of course, I have lost count, but maybe we do another 2 for now. And inhale. If you've been counting at home, stay true to your counting. Up and down. Okay, so that was first exercise. Go ahead and come up for a second, and we'll just move the roller out of the way. And for this next exercise, I'm going to use an inflatable ball. But if you have a pillow and you don't have an inflatable ball, just use your pillow instead. Okay? So we're going to flip you onto your stomach. I, again, am pregnant if you're just joining in, so I am not going to go all the way down onto my stomach for this exercise. Dancers, if you are not pregnant, you're going to take fingers together and the head is going to rest down into the forehead. You're going to go all the way onto your stomach for this exercise. I stay on my elbows. Okay, so we're going to find a passe position and place the ball underneath your inner ankle area. Okay, so I'm going to be on my forearms, set up. You want to make sure that your hips are as square as possible into the mat. Often one hip, if you're tight and if you're tight in your turnout muscle, you might have one hip lifted more than the other, especially with the foot on the ball. That's okay, okay? Just do the best you can. Do not force or push the hip down. From here, we really want to activate those lateral rotators that are tiny and hard to get into. I love this exercise. It's actually a PBT exercise I learned going through the certification. What we're going to do is we push down into the ball, and as you push down into the ball, we're trying to get that lateral rotator engaging. So that's the top of your hamstring. It's a very small muscle, but so important for dancers. One of the reasons I like this exercise is it's super informative. A lot of times dancers first start this exercise, they cannot find their lateral rotator. So I will tell them to place their hands on their upper hamstring, and as you push your heel into the ball, try to find those hamstrings, that upper hamstring, the lateral rotator engagement, fire. Oftentimes, the glutes will engage instead. So as you push down, what we don't want is the glutes to engage. What dancers are usually informed of is how much their glutes are doing to try to get their turnout going, right? So this is informative, and a great way to start to get those lateral rotators going. We try to soften the glutes, engage the lateral rotators. Sometimes when dancers first start this, they can't even feel, and you have to do it every day for a while to really get those guys going because they're so important. Okay, so we'll do the other side. I'm going to switch around so my head will be on the other side of the mat. Your head can stay put. Okay, so we go into a passe. We're going to square off the hips. Again, you'll be all the way down on the mat with head resting in fingers. Okay, the other thing is you might need to do a coupe position for a while. Maybe passe is just impossible for you to feel those lateral rotators engage. So we take a little exhale and we try to find those lateral rotators, that upper hamstring area, activating as you push down into the ball. Do a little check. Is this butt over activating? Try to keep it released and just activate the lateral rotators. It does help if you use your hands. Just feeling those lateral rotators engage is a tiny, tiny muscle. Can help if you're having a hard time. The other thing that might happen is part of the process is in the beginning, your glutes might engage a lot, but then the lateral rotators will engage as well. So you have to keep going with the process to the point where the glutes don't engage at all and just the lateral rotators can engage. So glutes stay relaxed, lateral rotator engagement happens. Okay, maybe 2 more. Exhaling down and inhale. 1 more. Exhale down and inhale. Again, just like 10 of those. It's just to activate those lateral rotators. Not like a huge strengthening exercise. Okay, so I'm going to put my ball away. We're going to keep you on your stomach. And again, I'm just going to be on my forearms. We're going to take the knees and separate them hip distance apart, not too wide. If the knees go too wide, it goes more into the flexibility of your turnout instead of the strengthening portion of the turnout that we need to connect into those lateral rotators with. Okay, so the knees are about shoulder width apart. Okay, feet will be squeezing together. And again, we're trying to find this wrapping from the top of the thigh. We want to find the engagement through the lateral rotators. So we take an exhale to squeeze the soles of the feet together. Then from there, if you can feel that engagement, it's like the panty line area, we're going to try to lift the thighs up off the mat. And then we lower down. Now, again, because I'm pregnant, I can't really lift my thighs up off the mat. So those of you on your stomach completely, try to lift the thighs up off the mat, right? Now, don't do it by just over-activating your glutes. Do it using your lateral rotators. So we squeeze the feet together and lift up the thighs. And inhale down. Exhale, soles of the feet squeeze together. And we lift up. And we lower down. Exhale, up. And lower down. Now do a little check. Is one foot able to squeeze towards the other foot more than the other? Does one side feel stronger than the other? Try to have an equal squeeze. Try to feel the equal wrapping engagement of those lateral rotators on both sides. And down. Let's do 2 more. Exhaling. Thighs lift up off the mat if you can. And inhaling down. 1 more. Squeeze the soles of the feet together. Lift the thighs a little higher. Shoulders are easy. And then we release down. And just separate the legs. Good job, you guys. We're going to do a quick piriformis stretch from here, just to kind of break into some of the exercises we're doing. So pigeon stretch is actually a great release and stretch for your turnout muscles. Not good to do at the beginning of class or at the beginning of a Pilates session, just because it is a static stretch, right? So let's do one leg forward, 90-degree angle in front of you. Back leg must be turned in or parallel. Most dancers want to turn it out. I know I really want to turn out that back leg. It feels easier. A lot harder to square up the shoulders and hips. Keep that front leg at a 90-degree angle. And again, I'm feeling a nice stretch through the psoas, those hip flexors. And just take a couple deep breaths here. And you can play with the position. There's so many variations of pigeon's pose. Taking the arms out in front of you, dropping head down, and walking the arms over to the right and left. Finding those positions and variations that are most effective for you. Even side bending. All of them are great. If you have time, just know that those are in your toolbox. So take a couple deep breaths here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Breathing into nice open hips. And exhale. Okay, so from here we'll switch sides. I'm going to shift over. And I don't know about you guys out there, but I know I have one side that's a lot tighter than my other. So this is it for me. It's a lot harder to find that parallel position. Hips square, shoulders square. But do your best to find that squareness in the hips and parallel back leg. We're going to flex this front foot as well. And we're going to take a couple deep breaths. Again, walking out your arms if that feels good. Over the side to side. For sake of time today, we probably won't hold as long as we should or feels good. So again, just knowing that this is in your toolbox for later use. The other side. And then just nice, slow, deep exhales, right? Let's do 2 more. We take an inhale wherever you are in the stretch. Breathing into the hips. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, good. And we'll slowly come out of that stretch. Just shaking out the legs a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna move you onto your side from here for our side leg lift series. So whatever side you want to start on, I'm gonna roll you down onto your side. Head is gonna rest in that upper arm. Upper body is in one long line. Knees are forward of the hips and body. The feet, the heels in particular, heels will be in line with your sits bones. Okay, so again, setting up, make sure your core is lifting up off the mat. It's so easy to collapse, but that's going to be your supporting side once you get to standing, asking your body for its max full rotation, right, in those hips. So we have to keep neutral pelvis here. Hip bones must stay stacked. Don't have this top hip bone crunching up towards your side rib. We want to keep the length in the side body on the right and left side. From here, we do a clam. We're going to flag the toes up and bring the knee back down. The toes flag up and come back down. If I scoot up just a little bit, make sure you can see my feet. So the toes are flagging up with the knee and doing a little check. Not only is the core activating up off the mat, but we want to make sure when the knee lifts that the hip doesn't go back with it, right? So we're finding the wrapping in the muscles. We're making the muscles tone and work, not just shifting your bones around in space. Exhaling up and down. Again, about 8 to 10 of these is great. And then we're going to move into the feet going up. Now it gets even harder. As you can see, the feet go up and you just want to collapse into that core, right? So the core has to work even harder to keep that underside lifted up off the mat as you work. Don't dump into your supporting side. Core's always working to help the turnout. So we're going to go up and down in this clam with the feet staying lifted. Again, hips stay stacked. Little exhale as the knee goes up and down. Exhale up and down. Exhale up and down. Ease in the neck and shoulders. Exhale and inhale. Constantly feeling the wrapping coming from the top of the thigh. And inhale. Let's do one more. Exhale and inhale. We bring the feet back down. You can bang it out a little bit. Get a little release. And then from here, not a lateral rotator exercise. However, your inner thighs, your adductors, need to be worked in this session because they are going to help you maintain your max rotation. Your inner thighs, those adductors help stabilize your turnout. So let's give them a little work here. So knee goes up towards the ceiling. If this is uncomfortable, too hard to hold, knee can go down. Okay? Again, top hip bone away. Exhale, bottom leg up and down. We're going to exhale, bottom leg up and down. Underside is lifting up off the mat. Spine is long and down. As you exhale up, feel the top of your inner thigh squeeze and inhale. Exhale, both inner thighs squeeze and inhale. Exhale, shh, and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Those of you out there with hyperextended knees, make sure your knee isn't locked out here. If your knee is locked out, sometimes it's actually harder to access your inner thigh. So keeping the knee straight, but active, not locked out in hyperextension. Okay, let's stay at the top, and we pulse for 10. Exhale, pulse. Each pulse gets higher and higher, keeping that underside lifting up off the mat. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We slowly bring it down. All right, final exercise on this side. Bottom leg is going to come forward at a 90-degree angle. Top leg moves straight down. So the heel, knee, hip, shoulder are all in one long line. Underside's lifted, core strong. We lift the top leg up, hip height, parallel. From here, we use all those external rotator muscles to turn out from the top of your thigh. Now we imagine there's a wall behind us, and this top leg, staying externally rotated, is going to go up that imaginary wall behind you. So the leg doesn't move forward. You're only bringing the leg up towards the ceiling as much as you can also keep it back on that imaginary wall. Now we lower down with control, parallel the leg, and bring it down. We lift up, externally rotate. So the lateral rotators wrap, inner thigh spirals forward. We keep it going. The femur is going deeper into the hip socket as you lift. Hip flexors are soft, so that leg can go here. If your hip flexors are really grippy, they're going to get in the way, and you're not going to be able to lift that leg as high.
So that's why we did some nice release for those areas before we did these kind of exercises. Good. Okay, and again, maybe you do 5 to 10 of these. For sake of time today, we'll probably do closer to 5. We're going to lengthen the leg long coming down, parallel it, and then bring it down. We're going to lift it hip height, spiral the femoral head open in the hip socket, hip bones stay stacked, don't let it go back behind you. We lift that leg up with the hamstring inner thigh, float the leg high, high, high. We bring it back down, parallel the leg, and the leg rests down. All right, so let's go ahead and roll onto your back, and we're going to quickly do a piriformis stretch with that top leg. So that top leg is going to cross over, and we just hold here for a second. Do a nice little easy piriformis stretch. Again, another little easy release to do for your turnout. I like rocking side to side, finding those places are tighter, and even doing little circles feels good sometimes. All right, one more deep breath here. Inhale and exhale. All right, I'm going to shift my head to the other side of the mat, and we'll do the other side. Okay, so we're going to start with the clam. Head rests down, core strong. We're going to bring the knees forward of the body. Your heels are going to be in line with your sits bones. Okay, hip bones are stacked. I'm lifting the underside up off the mat, and feet will be flexed. Take that leg up on the exhale, and inhale it down. Exhale, wrapping open from the top of the thigh, and bringing it down. Exhale, toes are flagging up with the knee. Heels stay squeezing together the whole time. Exhale up and inhale down. A few more. Ease in the neck and shoulders. Every time that knee lifts, I think of lifting my underside up off the mat with it. Making sure that we're keeping that neutral pelvis. Last one. Exhale and inhale. All right, so from here we lift the feet up. Again, harder one to keep that underside lifted up off the mat. Stay true to your neutral pelvis. Hip bones stay stacked. And we go up and down. So we exhale up, and inhale down. As I lift the knee up, it's harder to keep that top hip bone away from the rib cage. Harder to keep that underside lifted up off the mat. But really fight for that, because that's going to be your standing position that we want. Exhale once you move into ballet class. Exhale and inhale. I can lift my feet a lot higher, right? But then that would collapse everything. So again, just maintaining the true integrity of the exercise is going to get you further in the long run. 2 more. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. We'll slowly bring the feet down. Bang it out a little bit. And let's move into the inner thighs. Top foot forward. You can bring that knee down if it's more comfortable. Bottom foot flexes. Spine is long. We exhale, lift up the bottom leg. Inhale down. Exhale up and inhale down. Exhale, the top of the inner thighs squeeze together, and inhale. And again, do a little check. Make sure that top hip bone, every time you lift the bottom leg, is not crunching. Top side stays long. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Stay at the top of the next one, and we pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We slowly lower down. Good job, guys. All right, so from here, last exercise on your side, we're going to bring the top leg straight down, so it's in line, heel, knee, hip. Bottom leg, 90-degree angle. Okay, I like placing my hand on my hip for this one. Imagining my whole back is up against a wall with this top leg. In fact, with younger dancers, I do this exercise with them up against the wall the whole time, so they have that tactile cue. Okay, so we lift up the leg, hip height. We're going to rotate open. Again, try not to do it by your initiating with your foot or your knee. Rotate open from the top of the hip, top of the thigh, and bring the leg up. Femoral head sinks deeper into the hip socket. And then we lengthen the leg long, 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 long. And then we bring the leg back parallel, and we bring it down. We're going to lift up hip height. Externally rotate. Feel your thigh rotate, bringing that adductor forward and lateral rotators closer together in the back. Keeping your leg up against that imaginary wall. Bringing it back down, parallel, and lower. A couple more. We lift up, turning the leg out, lifting up, relaxing the femur in the hip socket, bringing the leg down long, parallel, and down. One more today. We lift up, externally rotate, bring the leg up, and then lengthen the leg long, parallel, and reach it long to finish. All right, let's do a quick piriformis stretch. You guys are looking great, I can tell. So roll you down and cross the top leg. We just worked into a piriformis stretch. So just take a couple of deep breaths here. I like to rock back and forth. And we'll do a little circle if it feels good. A couple of deep breaths. And then from here, we're just going to do a roll up to standing, and just to integrate the work we've done today to standing and just bring it into awareness. I'm going to show you a quick exercise with rotational discs or paper plates if you have them. If you don't have those, don't worry about it. Maybe it's an exercise you could do in the future, or have like socks on a wood or tile floor. Sometimes you can do it on. Okay, so we'll just do a roll up, placing the feet into the mat. We slowly roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Perhaps you're feeling nice length through the front of the thighs now, and nice open hips. So I'm going to use my rotational disc. Again, paper plates work just fine. Okay. Now the idea with this is to start to bring the work and transition it into ballet class. What we want to think about is as you externally rotate, it's being initiated by those lateral rotators in the back. So your right and left lateral rotator come closer together, right? Try not to get too grippy here, right? So I used to have a ballet teacher that would say, we don't want an angry butt, right? We want a happy butt, right? So you should be able to do this by creating a nice smile, a happy butt at the crease. That low glute upper hamstring is going to activate, and this stays engaged but not overworking. So you can really get that femoral head rotating as fully as possible. Then, in the front body, we want to think about how your inner thighs spiral forward. So front body, back body, really get that nice max rotation going. And you feel so strong in that position. It will give you so much strength, better balance as you start working through exercises, bar into center. Okay, so obviously being on paper plates, rotational disc makes it a little harder. So again, initiate from the right place, not your knees, not your feet. Sometimes dancers tend to do that. And you might not be able to open as much. That's okay. That's okay. We want you to be true to those muscles, and eventually it'll get better. So we bring the right and left lateral rotator in the back closer together, and I'm spiraling my inner thighs forward. And after you do a couple of those, hopefully you just start to notice that your bones are able to rotate externally and even internally a little bit more, right? We did a lot of nice release work, so just feel that freedom. Then feel how the muscles help maintain that new range of motion. One more exercise, good one to try. This is one of my favorites. We bring a plie parallel position. Again, neutral pelvis, no tucking, no sway back. We rotate open, a little easier to find rotation in a plie sometimes. Then we try to maintain that turnout and maybe even increase it a little bit more with those lateral rotators and inner thighs as you come back up. Very easy to kind of just end up like this, right? So instead, we're spiraling the inner thighs forward, wrapping the back of those lateral rotators together, lifting through the psoas and finding a nice length. And then we bring it back parallel. Good way to really find and work that rotation a little deeper from standing. We'll do one more. So we're going to spiral, open. And from here, we're going to lift. And we're going to lift. Don't lose the turnout. Don't lose the turnout. Don't lose the turnout. Feel that back body really working. Feel the front body long. And we'll hold. Okay? And those exercises can really help set you up for your ballet class, give you more range of motion, great injury prevention as well. So that is my class today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them. So feel free to DM me at Kerry Shea Pilates.
and I'd be happy to talk with you further. These were just a couple of my favorite releases and exercises. Obviously, there is a ton of exercises out there that might be better for you, might be worse for you. So just picking the ones that work for you and implementing them, and let me know how it goes. Thanks, guys. Happy Friday.